All right, welcome back, everybody, to another special episode of Life's Weird with Jen and George. I'm Jen.
I'm George. What up? We're gonna get real special,
Real
Yeah,
special. You're looking fancy. I got my fancy shirt on.
I know that's what I'm saying. And
I
there was
was
some,
gonna wear a hoodie, but I'm like, not today.
it's Valentine's Day weekend. We gotta
Right.
snazzy it up a little bit for the people.
Keep it classy.
For a special guest, you gotta have a little special outfit. Gotta put on
Exactly.
your best clothes out
Your
here.
Sunday best. Although you guys will see this on Monday, so
Yeah, yeah.
our
They'll,
Sunday best, but
they'll definitely get it. The people understand.
they get it. Well, thank you so much for all of the questions. I can't believe how many we've gotten. So, we're going to get through as many as we can, but we may have to do a part two. So, if we don't get to your question, don't worry, we will. Might not happen today, but we will, I promise.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
we're having, as you probably guessed, a personal trainer. She's actually my personal trainer. So, I love her so much, except for twice a week. Not my favorite
Mhm.
person, but outside of the gym, she's fantastic. So I'm super excited to have her on. So, yeah, let's dive in. We're going to wait for her to get on here and we're going to get rocking and rolling.
All right, yeah.
You have a special guest as well.
Mm-hmm. There's a cat.
Nice
That's a
little
cat
cat.
tail for sure. She's trying to get on the camera. That's it, man. Trying to get that money. Trying to get all the people who are into animals, maybe, to get them
Right.
views up.
Hey, Emily. Welcome to our podcast.
Yeah, I'm
Have you
excited.
done a podcast before, or is this your
I have not.
Yeah.
No.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
so much for letting us be your first.
yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
how long have you been a personal trainer? Tell us what got you into it. Let's kind of just get
Jump.
jump
So I have a
in.
really unconventional upbringing in training, you could say. Um, I graduated college with a criminal justice degree and
Mm.
immediately started working in like the paralegal law world of things. Um, and then my fiance moved us out of our hometown and I was miserable in the corporate world, so I was like,
Mm.
I'm ready to make a career change. So I've been, and then again, a little unconventional. I've been training athletes since 2019, but I've been personal training since only a couple of years. So like 2024, 5, 6, yeah. 2024-ish personal training. But since I started personal training, I started getting more and more certs because I really enjoyed it. Um, I've been programming for athletes since 2020. So I've really been training on the athletic side of things for multiple years. And that's kind of when I decided I didn't know what I wanted to do next outside of the corporate world. I kind of was talking to a girlfriend and she was like, "You're kind of already doing it. You should get your cert and see if you like it." So that's what I did. And then I've been, yeah, personal training for a couple of years. So a little unorthodox, but I think it's good.
Yeah, you're doing it. That's
Cool,
all that
cool.
matters.
Yeah, and I think my clients enjoy their workouts and they're seeing progress, and I'm still doing it with my athletic team. So, yeah.
I was telling George, like, you're such a sweet person and you're like my favorite, except for twice a week. Not my
Mm.
favorite.
You'll get there. You'll
In
get
a
there
good
too.
way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And by athletes, so I was a cheerleader in high school, and we kind of have chatted a little bit about that.
Mm.
How long have you been a cheerleader and coaching cheerleading?
So I was an athlete. I still like to refer to myself sometimes as an athlete,
Mm.
but I was an athlete all through like I mean, growing up, I did a bunch of sports, but in terms of cheer, I did cheer all through middle school, through my 5 years of college. I did all of my eligibility there. And really I had never like touched a barbell in my life or anything until about college level, sometimes a little bit in high school, but really like getting into the lifting aspect of things until college. And then I started coaching cheerleading in 2019. So I've been doing that for what is that, like 7 years? Going on 7 years. Yeah, I've been doing it a long time.
So you've always kind of been an athlete. I count that as an athlete because cheerleading is
My heart.
that is a different beast.
It is. People don't realize what goes into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. I still do it. I enjoy it. I love my kids. It's really
Nice,
like
nice.
heart filling. Like it's my passion project, my like soul. That's what I'm meant to do in this world, but it just doesn't pay enough. Not to
Mm,
make a living.
Right. One day,
nice.
maybe.
Hopefully.
Indeed.
Someday. Maybe we'll be
Yeah.
recognized like the football teams and then make millions of dollars. I don't know.
There you go.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think people realize how difficult cheerleading as a sport is.
Right.
Actually, the thing that people don't know about me, though some people do, is I cheerleaded in college. And it is, I went from playing football, I grew up playing football to cheerleading in college. And I I was like, this is gonna be so easy, I'm gonna just get up in there, throw these girls around, bada bing, bada boom. And then you don't realize how because you see these cheerleaders on television and even in real life, you think, oh, yeah, I can throw them around. What do they weigh, like 150, something like that? But
Hmm.
actually moving someone's body and catching them when they're like in the air, like you don't realize how high these some of these stunts are until you're underneath and you're seeing some person that you're responsible for coming down to you, and it's like please, and it's like there's no like time to think like, oh man, I hope I don't drop this person. You just
Right.
gotta catch them. And it's a lot more difficult. I like hurt my I had like injuries that I never thought I would have. Like I hurt my shoulder, I got kicked in the face. I was like,
Yep.
I'm supposed to just be here living, man. I'm just supposed to be here yelling stuff and clapping. What is this?
Yeah, yeah. I've coached for the team that I'm currently coaching. I've coached a couple football players and wrestlers to join the cause.
Oh, nice.
I love co-ed teams. I think um, male athletes bring a different energy into the girls, and it mixes really, really well, or not. I
Yeah,
mean, you're always gonna hate someone on your team, but
for
I think
sure.
it brings like a kind of like a competitive and a little bit of like a boy. Some boys are less catty, so like a little bit of like get over it and move on attitude. When some girls are like me me, but
So
yeah.
speaking of like the differences between men and women, we actually have a few questions like that, but I kind of want to start like when people, most of the questions we've gotten are what got him into, so I feel like people think of personal trainers and think of men.
Uh,
Have you ever had like people like shocked that you're a personal trainer? Like, how do you do it? You're a woman, like
Yeah, I think um I do think sometimes that especially other men, I think sometimes as a and I mean I'm not I don't want to generalize all men, but in my experience I think sometimes as a female trainer men think that you can't push them in the same capacity that a male trainer
mm,
would. So I think sometimes it's surprising when we do that. My fiance's brother is a firefighter and I took him through a session and when you have someone who's like really advanced and really fit, you kind of get creative and in what to put them through or things that they may not be working on that they through a lot of like stability movements and he was surprised of like how difficult those movements were and how he should be doing them more often because they're really like preventative of injuries and things like that. But I do think as a female trainer, sometimes men don't think that you can push them in the same capacity as like a male trainer could. And I think sometimes that's true with female clients of like I want a male trainer because I want someone that's really gonna push me. Um, but I always say like personal training is personalized. So whatever you're looking for, I feel a good trainer should be able to and be willing to curate whatever that is in your program and in your sessions together. if that makes sense.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, because all these questions, I'm like, him, and I'm like, women
You're
can
like,
do
plot
it
twist, it's
Mm,
a
too.
woman.
Yeah.
Plot twist. Yeah, yeah.
funny.
I think the only thing in terms of like people being shocked about me being a personal trainer is I'm thin and tall and I don't look as strong as I am. So I think sometimes when I lift around people, they're like, "Oh, I didn't realize that you could do that." And I'm like, "I'm a buff girl. It just doesn't sit on me like that, you know?" So,
It's funny.
yeah.
When someone is giving it their all and not seeing improvement or results that they're wanting, how would you approach that?
So I really quick, I guess I should have went over this sooner. I have my personal training certificate through CFSC. It's called Certified Functional Strength Coach. And again, I really specialize in like functional movements and then the athletic aspect. So I have another certificate in the athletic movement of things. And then I also have a yoga cert, and then I have an integrative, it's an intensive integrative nutrition certification, but it's basically for health coaching with an emphasis on nutrition. Um, so I think when someone is busting their ass and they're in the gym 7 days a week and they're like, I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm trying to eat right and I'm doing all the things, the first question I would probably ask that person is, how are your stress levels? How are
Mm,
you sleeping? And I know that's not necessarily like working out and fitness and what are you eating, but when your body is in a state of fight or flight and you're constantly pushing, like if your job is really stressful and then you go and you're doing a high intensity workout, that might not always be serving you and what you need. So when it's constantly in this like fight or flight, your body doesn't know the difference between being stressed and if a tiger is going to kill you. So those are the first two questions I would ask is how are you sleeping and how are your stress levels? Because if you're through the roof, that cortisol level is high, like you are in this constant state of essentially like body's thinking it's going to die, you're not going to see the results that you want. And that's why a lot of the time when I have clients who are in those high stress environments or jobs, my biggest like advice is go take a yoga class. Maybe you should take a day off from the gym and rest and do something that feels less stressful. And maybe that doesn't mean you have to be sedentary, but maybe that's like walking your dog or going to the park with your family, something that feels less, because that can hold you back. And I think people forget that can hold you back is your stress levels. So those are the
okay.
first two questions I would ask.
I have a quick question. Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to represent for all the people in their 40s and all that. So I have a lot of people who I know personally who just started working out and going to the gym specifically. So for me, sometimes when I'm trying to give them advice, it's hard to give them advice because it's hard to kind of because I don't know where they're coming from and what their ultimate goals are. So
hmm
what is your like suggestion or just where should they start? Like that's I think that's the most intimidating part for people. Like
Right.
where to start.
I think, and again, I think there's never a wrong answer. I think moving in general is like 75%-ish, don't quote me on that stat, of the world is like not moving. Sedentary. Sedentary job, sedentary home, go home, watch TV, go to bed. Dinner every night. That's a great place to start. In terms of going to the gym, there's a couple of things I would ask yourself, like are you looking for community? Because if you're looking for community or if you come from a sports background, I've noticed some people enjoy group fitness classes because you kind of have that like pushing yourself, maybe you want to like push a little harder than the person next to you. Or again, if you're like a stay-at-home mom and the only community that you may have on a consistent basis is going to the gym and meeting up with your bestie. So community and then kind of what you're looking for. I think group fitness classes are great in the sense of like signing up for a class, getting there and going, whether that's Pilates, whether that's like a Zumba class, whether that's, whatever it is, whatever your jive is, that's a great place to start if you don't know where to start. If you are kind of like a lone wolf and you want to do something in the gym, you got to ask yourself your goals. So, are your goals to just simply move? Are your goals to strength train? Are your goals like, do you want to gain muscle? I hear a lot as a trainer, like, I want to lose weight and I want to look lean and like I want my muscles to show. So, the basis of that is ideally losing fat and gaining muscle because that's what's going to give us that toned look. Um, so like if something like that is your goal, I think then you need to look into strength training. Um, and a lot of, especially with like technology nowadays, a lot of people are like, well, I can just ask ChatGPT and ChatGPT is gonna make me a program, which is great. Like utilize your resources. The only things you have to be careful with something like ChatGPT or any AI is, are you doing the movement correctly? You don't want to get hurt because if you're especially starting a journey and then you get hurt and you get knocked back a couple months, you're just going to be in this constant like vicious cycle of trying to start your journey. The second you walk, you don't even have to do anything. Just showing up for yourself is that the start of that journey. But I always like for someone who's say you've never been into a gym, I always kind of lean towards machines or group fitness classes because then you have a little bit of um, instruction from a certified group instructor or personal trainer, whatever the gym or area, whatever kind of class you're doing requires. And then machines limit your movement and the mobility of some movements. So I think you're sometimes less likely, especially pin loaded machines, to get injured. So I think machines are always like a safe place to start. Um, and I'm sorry I go on like these little side tangent
Yeah,
quests.
go
Um,
for it.
the only thing with machines to keep in mind is that's machines are really great at isolating a movement. So you're not necessarily always getting the stability aspect, or I always say like functional movements like the best bang for your buck because you can press dumbbells overhead or you can push a machine overhead. But if you're standing, you're having to engage your core, right? You're already kind of having to engage more muscles than if you're at a seated machine just pressing overhead versus a functional movement. So it's really dependent on the goals. So if you have a friend that's coming to you advice, just be like, well, if you had to break down your goals into three main things, like what would they be? And then kind of go from there.
Perfect.
So
Great answer.
side quests.
Side quest. We love side quest. We do that all the time.
Oh yeah.
When I am in so much pain and can't move on my own, what would you recommend for light, easy workouts?
I guess it depends on the pain. So my only concern is that pain that like in INN, we talk a lot about bio individuality. Like everyone's going to be a little different and everyone's going to have something that works best for them. So not one answer is the right answer. But if you're having pain that, I don't know if I had a client who had a severe pain in her hips and it was nerve pain. So that was something that she had to go to a doctor about and consult with them. And they took steps further than what I could do. And especially as a trainer, I think some get us confused of like, or we're not physical therapists, we're personal trainers, so we can work within the same scope of necessarily give per I don't want to say preventative. I can't, if you tear your ACL, I can't give you necessarily workouts that are going to help fix that situation after surgery or whatever, but I can work within their recommendations if that kind of makes sense. And I don't know if that's like coming out the right way that I want it to, but um so I guess my first question would be what kind of pain? I think in terms of low impact movement, walking is a great way to do. I think walking is so underrated. It's like
Mm,
the best way, in my opinion, to like get your cardio in that's low impact on your joints. And honestly, kind of enjoyable. Not everyone likes to run, but walking is a good time. Walk with a pal, walk your dog, go on a new trail. I don't know. Or something like maybe like a beginner's yoga. Sometimes stretching is like enough movement and you're doing something that feels good. Um, so for that person, I would want to dig a little deeper into figuring out what is causing that pain or kind of like where's that stemming from? Because I don't want to be like, hey, you should be walking and doing this. And really, she has something that needs to be worked with her doctor or his doctor. There I
Mhm.
go, being like,
I know a lot of these questions are very like personalized like that. I'm like,
Mm,
go see a personal trainer. I'm like,
yeah, that's also another
very
good thing. Like, if,
specific.
yeah, and if someone doesn't know, that kind of brings me back to your question, George, is if someone doesn't know where to start, what's a few sessions with a personal trainer to
Yeah.
invest into yourself? Like, because it's really an investment into yourself of like feeling confident and kind of knowing what to do outside of the gym. I think if a trainer is like, no, I'm not going to give you a program or like, I'm going to be not let you know what my plan is for you, they're probably not a great trainer in the sense that they don't have your best interest at heart. Um, I think the end goal for most trainers should be eventually those people should be able to like fly the coop, the nest, and go work out on their own. I mean, there's a different million different reasons people sign up for training. Like some people just need the accountability aspect, and those are gonna be clients probably for life. But um, yeah, if someone really doesn't know where to start, what is the invest? Like, what is it worth it to you to invest a couple of sessions into to figuring out how to meet those goals with a trainer that can help you.
that
So,
actually is one of the questions some kind of is, do some trainers train you just enough to get the results you want? Or are there more trainers that want you to be more independent and do it on your own? And I don't want to say not come back for personal training, but like, so you don't have to come back.
right. I think it depends on the trainer, and I also think it depends on how the client expresses what they need from the trainer. So I've had clients be very specific of like, I'm only signing up for this 3 month commitment. And I want to know what I can do outside of, we have like a cage that we train in, is what it's called, but at the area that we work out in. Um, So I spent, I think, like the first month kind of talking about movements that I think would help benefit him outside. And then we did them in the cage. And then we would take that. And I think the last like month and a half of our 3 month commitment, we took it outside of our designated area and did those movements and showed him like how to modify advance with the equipment that he had readily available to him. I've had clients, say I really just want to do the 3 month commitment or 6 month commitment. I really want to feel confident and only use machines. We've done that too. So I think really is important to tell your trainer what you are looking for. If you are someone that is really like, I just need basic help and I want to be able to do this all on my own in that minimum commitment, or every gym does it a little differently. So it just depends on what that trainer offers. But um, I think it's important to express that to them. And then you never know, within those 3 months, you might be like, I want a little, I want a little more or a little more push here or here before I leave. So it depends on the trainer. But yeah, I think they can do both. You just have to be really, in my opinion, really open and honest about what you're looking for in your personal trainer, and what specifically your goals are. Or like if your goals are forever or success outside of our time together.
The question.
Okay.
So here's my question. So I don't know if this is like a general like social media thing, and it's hard for me to necessarily relate because I work out at like 4 in the morning and there's no one there. So what is your like opinion on gym etiquette? Because on social media, I always hear about like the way people are dressed or people not like cleaning machines or what's one of the other ones I hear? The Planet Fitness has the lug thing
Oh.
where the thing goes off and all that. What was your opinion on things like that?
So first and foremost, I mean, figure out what your rules are of the gym. So like if you're somewhere like Planet Fitness where they have that lunk alarm, That means don't throw your weights down, don't make loud noises because you're gonna set that off and be embarrassed. And it's an interesting, I mean, I'm not against it. I think they're trying to create really a non-intimidating place to work out. Um, but first and foremost, read what your expectations of the gym that you're at are, because there's some gyms that don't allow you to, I remember our college rec center for the longest time wouldn't allow people to wear like crop tops. So
Yeah.
it really just, yeah, it depends on the gym. But with that being said, I think at the end of the day, like if people are moving, let them wear whatever they want. And if you have a problem with that, in my head, I'm kind of like, you're not focused enough on yourself. Why are we
Yeah.
focused on what everyone else is doing when we need to just focus on why you came, you know? Um, my biggest thing that I would say, please and always forever wipe down your equipment with like care, with like intention, because germs are real. And have you ever seen like at a basketball game, like when the basketball players like lick their hands and then touch the bottom of
Yeah.
their feet, and then later they lick their hands and they touch the bottom of their feet?
Hmm.
People could be licking their hands and touching that machine and then not wiping it
Yeah.
down. And every germ that that person has, if you're not wiping down your equipment before or even after you use it, you're taking that with you home. You know
Sure.
what I'm saying? So
Oh
like
yeah.
I think in terms of etiquette, the biggest thing is to wipe down your equipment because nobody wants like I always say in my classes, like nobody wants your gunkies. We love you all, but
Mm.
nobody wants that. So you can be really like anal and wipe it down before and after. I think the biggest thing is just at least wipe it down after you use it. But other than that, read your gym's rules, do what you may, worry about yourself. I think there's things that you can be like, that's annoying and irritating, but then it's like, okay, you have to ask yourself, well, if they allow this here, is this the gym for me? Like maybe I should switch gyms
Yeah.
or whatever. Because there's things that people do at my gym and I'm like, that's annoying. But I'm not willing to switch gyms, so I need to just worry about myself. Let them live.
Indeed. Indeed. I mean, yeah, I've been to Planet Fitness a bunch of times and I've never seen the alarm go off, but I always see it on like social media and stuff. Like
I do,
again, like I'm there at like 4 in the morning, so the only people there are like older people most of the
mhm,
time and
mhm,
me. So it's like the ain't nobody in there lifting weights and yelling and screaming, so I never seen it happen. But I also play football. And if you've seen football players and wrestlers lift, there's a lot of and it's
mhm,
like there's not. I guess I'm just so used to it that it never bothered me. But
right,
I think if I had never been to the gym and I'm just trying to work out and there's some like sweaty dude, it would probably be
right,
like, all right, you not do that.
right. And I get that. I mean, when we were in col when I was in college or the football team, so I get that. I would even be in college and be like, why am I lifting almost as much as you and not grunting? But
Yeah,
today it's like maybe just turn up the volume on your earphones.
yeah.
I don't know, drown it out, or switch gyms. But yeah, Planet Fitness is interesting. I used to work out at Planet Fitness in college as well, and I've never seen the monk alarm go off. Not
Mm,
saying that doesn't happen because I have seen it on social media as well.
Wild.
indeed.
Well, somebody did want to know, does it matter what you wear to work out or just personal comfort? Speaking of no crop tops at certain gyms.
Yeah,
Crop
I don't
tops.
I think some people would have a different opinion on this. I personally don't think it matters. I think you should work out in something that you're comfortable in. Like I I'm like two ends of the spectrum. I'm either working out in like a giant baggy t-shirt or like in a sports bra. Those are like my two areas that I like to be in. In terms of like being a trainer, it makes it a little easier for me to see the functions and like the way your body's moving if we're not in like a giant hoodie. Um, just as like, I can see if your back is arching or if your core is engaged versus but I mean, I also don't expect people to be in like sports bras. Um, so I think it's really just based on comfort. As a trainer, sometimes I do appreciate a little less baggy just so I can see the movement a little bit better in the body. But other than that, wear whatever you want. Again, let people live. At least they're moving. At least we're up and being physical and active and all the things. And whatever you feel confident in, strut it.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
So whoever wrote that, if you want the crop tops,
Crop it up. Crop it up.
IG,
That
that's what
that
we
was
I,
do.
actually my question, you know what I'm saying? That
and I
crop top
honestly,
Crop.
yeah, live.
testing when you see that because I don't know, I'm a little older than you, I think. So I've been working out for a while and you see more and more women. Yeah, there was always women in the gym, but they kind of had their section and we kind of had our section. You didn't see a lot of women like lifting weights because there was that fallacy for a long time. Like, if you lift weights, you're gonna get too buff or you're gonna
Yeah,
look too much like a man. So
yeah.
you would even like the weights that they would lift, they would be like pink and yellow, like they would
Mhm.
be colored. So it wasn't like you really saw that. So now I think that's more of the thing where men aren't really used to women being in their quote unquote area. So
Mhm.
it's like you see the old school like aerobics outfits and different outfits but they did that over there. They didn't come over here. And now
Yeah.
you see the you see it and it's like you can be a creep and stare or you can just mind your own business. The gym is like one of the few places where I'm like super super serious. So I'm like I got my headphones on. I don't notice anybody
A
really
day.
except me. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't really, it's not something I even think about. Like, oh, I can't believe that person would wear that. Wow.
Mhm.
It's like, hey, man, I got like an hour and I'm trying to bang this
Right.
hour out and get up out of here.
Right. Right.
I'm the
Yeah.
And I
total
think,
opposite. I am the people watcher. I'm
are
like,
you?
what's happening?
That's
And
So
that's
funny.
okay. I've been both. Um, yeah, I think like that's also something that's shifting a little bit, probably just in like the culture that we live in of like women are learning to almost take up like more space and like walk into spaces that they maybe weren't welcome or weren't maybe not welcome is the right question or right word, but like normalized being in that space. Um, and I think that's really great, but I do understand where it might be a little like shocking to men of like we're still wearing the cute little outfits, but now we're just lifting heavy weight.
Yeah. And a lot of other people's experiences. So it's like, you might see that skinny cheerleader and then she might get out there and bench 150 and you're just
Yes.
like, oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
none of it shocks me. I'm just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But I like what you said about like I have an hour to get my shit done and I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. So to
Like,
be in there, like, because the gym, depending on which gym you're in, I was at Lifetime Fitness for a long time. It could get weird where there's just like guys just like in there, just walking around. I used
right.
to be in there like
Hours.
4 in the morning, and there would be a guy, I swear he never worked out. He was physically fit, but it was like he was like cruising, like he was on a date. Like, what exactly are you doing here? It's like way too early to just be chilling. This is not like the chill spot, but
Yeah,
you know, everyone does their own thing.
yeah, to each their own. If that's where you gotta meet people, I guess that's where you gotta meet people. I don't know.
I don't know. The gym is such a serious place to me that and like everyone's in there sweating and getting to it that I'm not even thinking like, man, that sweaty girl over there, real nice looking.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not thinking anything about it. It's just kind of like, all right, let's go and like get to it and get up out of here. But
Yeah.
people treat it like the club, man. It'd be people in there with cologne on and everything.
Yeah, in college I worked at a small business owned gym, like very small gym. And a lot of older folk loved it and there and it was always fun. I mean, we had a wide range of members, but I worked the early morning shift. So I worked from like 4 to noon or something like that in college. And so it was always fun to watch the older people come and take their like silver sneakers class. And then
Yeah.
after they would all, because we had coffee, so they'd all like grab their coffee cards and get coffee, and then they would sit people. Um, yeah, I think it depends like what phase of life you're in. Like for you right now, it's just like trying to stay healthy. I have a goal. I'm gonna stay focused. For them, it was like, I'm gonna move my body and then I'm gonna chat with Susan
That's
over
for
here
sure.
for a couple hours.
It's adorable though.
It was adorable. It was
That's a
so
good
fun to
move.
watch. It was so fun to watch and get to know all of them. They were so cute.
I'm excited to get to that because I people watch because I'm like I need a distraction if I'm thinking about what I'm doing. I'm like I hate this. I don't want to be here. So I have to like, what do you do? Oh, that's cool. And like, oh, you're going hard. Like maybe I should go a little bit. So I enjoy like the people watching to like distract myself so I'm not thinking about what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, I mean that
I would
that's a
love
good
to be like, this is what I'm doing. I'm in and out. That's I'm not there
a good strategy
I
too.
yet.
think I just don't think I could actually people watch because I know like proper forms and stuff, and something in me would be looking at you thinking, "Oh, you're doing that wrong. This is how you're supposed to do it." And it's
That's
like,
when you just
well,
yell over and be like, hey, yo, you're doing it.
hey, you're doing that
Fix
wrong.
your form.
Use your core, engage your core, homie. What are you doing? So it's like, okay, I don't want to tell, I'm not a personal trainer, so I don't want to tell people what to do. But yeah, you see a lot of people actually like, some people are like using machines, and it's like, huh, you're not actually using that right. But, I'm gonna just mind my business and keep walking.
Yeah, yeah. There's all this, especially with social media too. I mean, they're coming up with a million different ways to use a million different machines, which I think is great. Like you know, be creative up in here. But yeah, it is. Yeah, it's
Every
interesting.
time I see someone doing like something weird, I think to myself, what muscle is that working? Because you'll see like dudes doing like weird stuff with throat. Like what exactly is that working out for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to not judge sometimes because everyone has different goals. Like, I don't know, maybe they wrestle. Don't wrestlers have to
Yeah, yeah.
have strong necks or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, like it's always like when you could tell that they're just an average person, it's like I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say average person. That's gonna make me sound like a dickhead. That they're just like someone who works at like Walmart. Like, do you really need like the strength of your like elbow muscle or your neck muscle? What exactly is that working out for you? Like, you've seen people do things where you're just like, that's actually not doing anything. So you're
Yeah,
just kind of like just doing what I don't even know where you learned that from. It's
yeah,
like, did you learn that from social media? Where did
probably.
you learn that from? That's not working out anything.
Or like it
Yeah,
feels like it's doing something, so it must be right.
Yeah, yeah.
must be.
But I'm sweating, so it's definitely doing something.
Yeah, at least that heart rate's up.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of like weird, like pelvic thrusting things that you see at the gym sometimes. You think, what exactly are you planning on doing with that workout? And it's
Hmm.
like, you know what? I'm not even gonna ask because this might get weird for everybody. So I'm gonna just keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
Silly. Do you have any favorite workouts or go-to workouts that you prefer to do or just like to do?
So, again, being a little woo-woo holistic here, I really have to like be in tune with my body and what I need. Like, I love to weight lift, but some days that does not like serve me and what I need, and I have to be really aware of that. But I love any functional movements. I honestly love sometimes getting to like my roots and doing like Olympic weight. Again, remember that I'm still an athlete deep down. But Sundays, like sometimes all I need is like a 30-minute yoga flow, and that is like what I need. So it really just depends on the day and kind of like what I am going through that week. There's been times where I've tried to like push through and still like weight train or do, because I do follow programs, and sometimes when I'm creating a program, I try to follow it before I put my clients through it. Um, and sometimes that just I get into like a place where I'm like this is actually putting me in a worse mood. This is actually making me pissed off. I'm done. Um, So yeah, I really try to be in touch with like what my body, emotions, all the things, what my nervous system, all of those things need in that moment. But I do try to at least move every day. Yeah.
There is one question that, because that kind of goes through like what your body needs at that certain time. Somebody asked a really good question. I'm trying to find. It was if you should alter your diet and workout routines. Sorry, George, we're gonna get womanly here, but
Hey,
around
go for it.
women's cycles, should we
Mm.
alter workouts and diet with that, or kind of just keep it normal, just move?
I think there's a lot of research around this, but I think one, again, it depends on your goals. Like if you're someone that's going into a bodybuilding competition, it's going to be really hard to follow that if you have these like strict goals and structures and, you know, points that you're trying to meet. I think if you're like an average human, um, who is just trying to like be fit or gym, and those results will be affected by where you're at. Um,
Mm.
I do think it's important for women to realize that like when you're on your period, your body is going to need more iron, more food, in general, um, because of that. I don't think you necessarily have to alter, but if you can be aware of where you're at in your cycle and how you're feeling, like during your cycle, you're probably going to be more tired. So you're probably going to have a harder time pushing weight or it does affect you. I don't know if you necessarily have to like alter everything to work around it. I think if you can just be aware and work with it and give yourself grace where you need grace, and not be so like harsh on yourself, that's important because your body's literally shedding your the inner lining of that uterus. Like that's a lot of work and a little, it's in a very different state than where you're at in your ovulation of like energized and feeling great. So if you can just give yourself grace and then just be aware, like if I'm on my cycle and I'm not pushing the weight that I normally push, I'm gonna give myself grace here. Maybe I take an extra rest day. But then when I'm in that like ovulation phase and I'm feeling great and I'm feeling strong, maybe this is where I really push myself and see if I can go even heavier or add another day of movement and exercise than what I'd normally do, if that makes sense.
I definitely get it.
Yeah.
You get it?
I get it.
Just
I
listen to
get
your
it.
body, George.
My daughter's 14. I know all about some of that stuff, you know.
That's like the worst age is like 14 too.
Okay, I have a question that I guess it's like a more like a, I guess it's like a womanly question, I guess. Well, definitely for sure. So, what do you think about all the like social media stuff when it comes to women getting their bodies back? So, let's say you have a baby. So, I think a lot of like celebrities have kind of created this like, this really like unreal like,
You gotta
like
like snap back after having a baby.
yeah, like, oh, I just had a baby like 3 months ago and now I'm squatting 315. What are you doing? Like,
Hmm.
what do you think is like a realistic kind of like, because you hear about some of these women like passing out at the gym and just going crazy or like bleeding at the gym, all kind of crazy stuff. What do you think is like a realistic like time range for like getting back? Or
I
is this
think,
more like a doctor question?
yeah, I think first and foremost, work with your doctor because a C-section might look different than like a normal birth. But I think something that's also shifting and changing a little bit is women are now weight training in pregnancy.
I've seen
Um,
that.
yeah, which I think is great. I think the stronger that you are, the better health that you're in while in pregnancy is going to make labor easier, which is ultimately going to make
Hmm.
your recovery easier because you're kind of prepping your body for, honestly, I mean, birth is traumatic and scary. It can kill you. Um, so I think it's important to one, keep in mind that your body just went through like a huge 9-month transformation. Like your organs move around and your pelvis changes. So your body does change. So I think it's important to keep that in mind. I think if women who want to have a baby can think about staying active, even if it's not weight training, but if they can stay active throughout their pregnancy, it'll make their labor easier. And then again, work when you into account, like if you're a mother who lives 200 miles away from her closest relative and your husband's now going back to work and now you're staying at home or you're going back to work and the baby's going into daycare, like things like that are going to affect your journey getting your body back. And I don't even like to say getting your body back because birth is gonna childbearing of any sort is gonna change your body and it may never feel the same. But like, what is this new body? What can it do? Trying to just like refine yourself, refine how you feel in this body. I'm not saying you can't get your body back or you can't even, maybe you're stronger after you have a kid and you give yourself a year to I hate the word bounce back, but like to bounce back and regain muscle. Like there's women that have talked about that the body that they've had after they've had two kids is stronger and more athletic and more healthy than it was before they had kids. So I think it's going to be different for every individual and what their goals are and what their circumstances are, the time that they can allot for their health, dependent on what kind of support they have within their, I like to say village, it takes a village. So what kind of village do you have? Is it a smaller village? Then you might not have as much time allotted for yourself. I work with a lot of women actually, and a lot of moms who are like, yeah, all of my kids are gone and I've just been a mom and now I don't know who I am or what to do and I want to get back to feeling like myself. And I love being a part of that journey because sometimes it's not always about like how you look. It's like how you feel. How are you doing day-to-day things? So I don't know if I wouldn't put a timeline on that, I would say.
And give yourself some grace. You know what I'm saying? Don't
Yeah.
these celebrities, they're it's so extreme, and I think
They have
that's one
private
of the things.
chefs,
Yeah,
they have their own gym, in their house. They don't even have to leave their house most of the time. You think about like someone like Kim Kardashian,
yeah,
private chef, nutritionist, she has access to so much stuff. I think
yeah.
it's so important I actually watched a woman kind of talk about this. Kylie Jenner actually like posted something in like Skims or whatever, um, like 3 months after having a baby. And this woman got on social media and was like, just a reminder, this is not like normal. Like
Yeah.
we don't have access to all of these things. And maybe you do, and that's awesome. Like that's great. I wish most women had that much access to that stuff. But yeah, you don't got a private chef. You're coming home from an 8-hour shift after having a baby, probably trying to figure out how to cook dinner and find time for yourself and the baby and all the things. So like, yeah, giving yourself grace, I think is super important. Not that it can't be done, not that you don't deserve to feel fit and beautiful in your body, but it is important, I think, to just remember that we don't have access to all of the things that these celebrities have. We're just like average humans living in this economy, trying to make ends meet.
Trying, people, we're trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tough out here, man.
I wouldn't put a timeline on any of that, really.
Gotcha.
When I think like all workouts in general, it's hard to put a timeline because it's like, yeah, everybody's body's different, your
Mm,
environment's different. So just
yeah.
go easy on yourself, people.
Go easy on yourself and just do what feels good. Like, if it does not feel good, don't do it.
Makes
So kind of
sense.
piggybacking off of that, do you think it's better to do at-home workouts or go to the gym?
Hmm.
I don't have a huge preference in terms of like telling someone what they should do. Um for me personally, I know that I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna work out at home and then I would never actually do it. So like I'm someone that needs to like like even I lived in an apartment and they had like a little gym. I never used that thing. I had to leave the premises of where I lived to go work out and actually do it. There's some people that's like the hardest part is getting up and leaving. So if you think it would serve you to do something at home, like rolling out a yoga mat or a towel if you don't even have a yoga mat, and looking up a YouTube video of like a 30-minute full body workout. Freaking do it. Use your baby use your kid as the weight of press. Um, so I think, yeah, again, it depends on everyone's circumstances, right? And like what works for them. Like for me, I wish I could be an at-home person. I can't. I have to leave my house to be productive. So I think you can get both. I think you can do both, but you have to figure out what works for you. And it's not bad to invest in like a dumbbell set or kettlebell set if you're an at-home person. Um, yeah.
I don't know. I think there's something about, maybe it's because I've played sports. It's something about the community that even if I'm not working out with you, I'm working out next to you. And it's like, sometimes it's like I don't really care what other people are doing, but sometimes it's like if I'm going and I'll be like, well, man, this dude is probably like 10 years older than me. He's going kind of hard. Sometimes in my mind, sometimes it's like I'm competing with him even though I'm not. It'd be
Right.
like, okay, maybe I need to pick it up a little bit. Like, all right, let's go. And even like like it's hard not to be in dad mode when you're at home. Like, I've stopped middle of workouts to like fix a doorknob. And it's like yeah, it's so like damn, that table looking a little crooked over there. Let me, and then it's like, because for me, when I like to work out, I like to get it done, get it over with, move on to whatever I gotta do next.
Right.
And when I'm at home, I just get really distracted personally.
Me too.
And some workouts are just they just kind of suck at home. Like you could do them, but it's kind of like you don't really even want to do them at the gym. So it's like your home is like where you're most comfortable and chill at. It's like I don't really want to do sit-ups right now. I don't want to do sit-ups at the gym. I certainly don't want to do it,
In my
you know,
room.
in my living room while my
Yeah.
cat's walking over my face. Like,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah. I think something to that I think a lot of people forget is the gym is out of the week. So I think it's easier. I talk a lot about functional fitness because that's what I work a lot with on clients is like, I think you met her this morning, Jenny.
I
Okay. She travels so much for work. And so like a big thing for her was like getting her luggage into the overhead of like a plane. And so it's like, the hour, 2 hours a week or whatever that we spend together, hopefully can better and make the rest of that circle easier, if that makes sense.
Mhm. And she's getting there. She's actually improving so much, and like
Love
I'm
her.
inspired by her. I'm like, look at you. I love it. And that's like a fun thing too. And like you go enough, you can see like people's progress without like really knowing their progress, but you can see it and be like, one day that'll be me, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
huh.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's too, it's like for me, the gym is like so linked to self-care. Past episode, go check it out, good episode. So it's like the one place that you go that is specifically for you.
Yeah.
Like work is like it's work and everyone has to work and other things you do. It's like, oh, I do this for my kids, I do this for my family, I do this for this person. When you're going to the gym by yourself, it is the one time where you can be 100% selfish and no one can say anything to you about it. And I think everyone needs at least something like that in their life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. You're really pouring into your cup so that you're able to pour into others when you're at the gym. Yeah.
Love that. Speaking kind of like another self-care, what are your thoughts on red light therapy? And do you recommend it
Hmm.
for after workouts? Do you think it actually works and helps?
I have never really done it, so I can't speak from experience. There's a lot of research out there that says it's like amazing for you. Um, I think the one thing with red light therapy is you have to be really consistent about it to see results or to see any changes. But I've heard like amazing things. I don't know if you guys have heard of Mind Pump about it, but I personally like have not used it enough to know. I don't even think I've like jumped into our little red light therapy tanning bed, to be
Hmm.
completely honest. But there's great research behind it. So I think if it's something that someone's interested in, they should research it, see if it's a good match for them, and then yeah, go from there and just be really consistent with it. Like anything, right? Anything needs consistency. So yeah, commit to it. Commit to the bit.
So I can't do it once and be like, it didn't work.
Probably not gonna.
That's funny. Okay, I have a question. I have a quick question about supplements. So I've always been natural and I never really took any supplements or anything like that. But I see a lot of young people specifically who feel the need to take supplements and different things like that. But then you get to a point where I think they feel like the supplements aren't working, and that's when they go into the more extreme things. There's a
Mhm.
lot of like just random people on like steroids, like high school kids, and steroids used to be something that was in the closet. I always knew people who did it, but they just didn't talk about it. Now you see like there's famous like Instagram like lifters. I don't know even know what you would call them, that like influencers, I guess, who like, yeah, I take steroids. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But very dangerous stuff, kids. Don't take steroids. But yeah, what are your thoughts on like just stuff like that?
I think again, take or partake at your own risk with anything. Um, Work with your doctor on it. Like there's a couple of supplements that I take. I mean, I take my like daily vitamin C, to avoid getting sick since I work in such a hot spot. But things like, one thing that I do take is magnesium. It helps me sleep. Um, but that might not resonate with everyone. I mean, there's great research behind creatine. Some people say creatine really helps like energy levels, brain fog, and then obviously all of the positives for like muscle growth and all of those things. But again, like take it your own risk. Everyone individuality, I said that right? Is super important. So like it might resonate with your body, it might not. Same thing with like steroids. If that is your goal, I'm not gonna be here to tell you to do it or to not do it. It's not something I would ever like personally put in my body. I try to be like super specific on what I'm putting in my body. Um, but I don't think like a good multivitamin, if you want to partake in creatine, I haven't done it. I'm kind of like you where I'm just like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to. I'm not saying that it couldn't be beneficial for me or it couldn't be beneficial for anyone else, but I am kind of like you where I'm like, until I feel like I need the assistance, I'm just
Yeah.
not gonna spend like waste my money. I know that sounds bad because it's not a waste of money. I'm sure there's positive aspects to it, but it's like I don't need that yet in my life. If you're It's kind of like an iron supplement. If you're low on iron, take an iron supplement, if you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have any strong feelings. I just say at your own risk. Like be aware of what your body needs and how it reacts.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, especially like people who lift weights who feel like they need to take these things. And I go back and forth with people all the time. It's like you're you're improving because you're consistently working out at the gym, not because you're taking reindeer blood. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, because
Yeah.
you walk into like a GNC, there's stuff that's like, what actually is this? Like,
Well, yeah.
the Titans use that. What are you talking about? And it's like you got to get to a point where it's like, well, because it's just a conversation that a lot of people aren't having because the people who tend to work out, they talk about it, but they don't talk about it. A lot of people, it's and again, it's about your individual life. So it's like, well, I could tell you like that creatine, you don't really need it, but I don't really need it. You might need it, but it is also depends on what you're trying to do. But a lot of times it's like you get the people who are like just like you see them at the gym where they got like a line of stuff. Like, what is all of that stuff? Like, does that actually help you?
I think something to also keep in mind with like your needs and what you're needing is that's going to change. I
Yeah.
used to be like huge into pre-workout when I was younger, and I'm still
Oh,
young,
yeah,
but
yeah.
when I was younger, I loved pre-workout. I thought it was like the best shit ever. And now pre-workout makes me throw up.
Yeah.
Like one day, it just like flipped a switch in my body, and my body was like, no, 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 girl, we do not like that amount of caffeine. We do not need that. Like, we don't like to feel itchy. Like, and now, like anytime I take pre-workout, I throw up. So I just stopped taking pre-workout, which I'm kind of like sad about. It'd be cool to have like a good pump, but yeah, it's like okay, I liked that supplement and I was using that supplement for a really long time. And then eventually my body said, no, 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 we don't want that in our body. And I honored that and listened to that and haven't touched it since.
I think that's the important thing that a lot of people need to think about when they're working out is listening to your body. Every
Hmm.
time you do the shoulder press and you feel like your shoulder is about to fall off, yeah, that's not normal. You should like maybe do less weights because I'm 41, so you know, I've been lifting for 20 something years. And then one day I was doing squats and it was like my body was just like, nah, don't do that no more. But
Yeah,
it's like, you just your body, different muscles, they just don't hit like they used to. You like,
yeah,
like yeah, I could get out because you see like professional bodybuilders and they're like some of them, they get a little bit older than me and they're in wheelchairs. They can barely move. And
yeah.
it's just kind of like, well, what's the purpose of this? And it's
Right.
like you gotta listen to your body and shift. Like now I just do lots of reps with lower weights. And but a lot of the times it's a mental thing. I see those like 75s and I know, oh, I could do that easy. But then I know I'm not going to be able to use this shoulder for about a day or two. And
Yeah.
it's like you got to listen to your body. Like the 45s are good. I think what do they call it? There's a lady who recently died because of like what do they call it? Ego lifting, where she's like, you know, come on, you can see something and know you can't lift that. And it's like a lot of people don't use spotters and stuff like that, and that's fine if you feel like comfortable, but it's like you can really kill yourself or hurt yourself in the gym trying to lift things that you know you can't lift. Like if you are normally squatting 200 pounds and then you go, yeah, today, you know what? 400 pounds. And it's like, no, don't do that. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah, I think it's important too to ask you like what season of life are you in? And like when I got out of college, I took a year off from lifting anything. I think I went to the gym once or twice in that year, and I did like strictly yoga, strictly mobility. Like I was very much like low impact movement, just because from Olympic weightlifting for 5 years, my joints needed that break. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did. But like, what season of life are you in, and where do these movements serve you outside, or again, what are your goals, with overhead pressing 300 pounds. I don't know. Maybe you are an Olympic weightlifter and that is something that you're trying to PR or whatever. But yeah, what season of life are you in and what does your body need in that moment?
Well, I don't want to keep you too long, Emily, so we will let you go. And yeah, I think we definitely could fit in a part two if you're open to it. Do you have any socials that people can follow you on, or if they have
Yeah.
anything they want to?
So I hate social media. That's one thing you'll learn about me, but I did start a new Instagram specifically kind of for my like health coaching. I just want it to be a place where people can come and realize that like I'm not into the dieting culture. I'm not into any of that. But you can follow me at mem_balance.wellness on Instagram. That's the only social I have. I hate TikTok. I hate anything like that. But yeah, you can follow me there. I just kind of like share recipes and just life things, kind of connecting with inner self and goals. And I'm getting married in June, so I'll probably talk a lot about that on there and how,
Congratulations.
oh, thanks. Yeah. Um, and how I'm trying to like hit my fitness goals on top of working and all the things. So yeah.
I love it. And we'll
And
tag that below for you guys.
where do you work out of generally?
So and that's one thing I've been trying to be better at. I try to work out at Vasa at the gym that we train at during the day if I can. If not, I try, I'm part of a yoga place here in Greeley, so I try to go there and they have like a small weight section that I kind of use. And I'm a big walker. I love to walk my dog. So, yeah. I try to also work out not at the gym that I work at to not feel like I'm at work all the time.
It's fair.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure.
Gotta do that self-care.
Self-care. Don't be at work.
Man, I
Amen.
Thank you guys. I'd love to do a part two.
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
because
thank you
we
so much
definitely
for
got some
joining
more
us.
questions for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So
Well,
thank you
thank
so
you
much for
guys.
all the information. It was so much fun.
Bye, you guys. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
All right, later.
And yeah, if you guys have any more questions you want to send our way, we'll definitely get those answered. But yeah, we'll tag her information, keep the weird questions coming, although we had a lot of good ones and we didn't even get to the weird, funny ones that I was excited about. So I'll be excited for part two for sure.
It's, number two is always where it's at in the non-gross way.
Exactly. Yeah. We're just growing. We're just so popular now. You know,
Yeah, life is good. Hopefully, you get to enough views where I can quit my job. I'm gonna walk in and be like, yeah, you know, and
we're putting
that's
that
all I'm
out,
gonna
Nina.
say. You know, you see me on YouTube. You see me. I'm out here. I'm too famous for
Okay.
this. Someone's gonna ask me to
Exactly.
do something, and I would be like, "Did you not see my pod friend?
You know who I am.
Do you?
That's what
I'm gonna get.
I'm ready for. Like, do
Do
you
you know
know
who
who I
you're speaking to?
am?
Like, who do you think you're talking to? You didn't see my pod friend, amigo?
Exactly.
Did you have? I do. I guess. Did you have any more things that you wanted to talk about as far as fitness, Jenny? Going fitness, Jen?
Yeah, I'm killing it. No, I just think it's really interesting. I started personal training a year and a half ago. Um, I keep going because I need that accountability. So that's kind of why I've been doing it. When I first started, I was one of those people, and actually one of the head trainers, she was at the location I was at before I moved. So I'm at a different gym now. Same gym, different location. Anyway, but she actually was the one that signed me up with the personal training. And she said the first day I walked in, she was like, "You were just like this fish out of water. You looked terrified, didn't want to be there." I'm like, "That's accurate." And she's like, "You walking in here, you look confident. You look like you're ready to go." And I'm like, "Thank you for saying that. I needed that." But yeah, for me, it was, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know
Yeah,
anything about working out with machines or weights or anything. So I needed that kind of help and accountability. And yeah, just having someone else involved, it wasn't, well, now I have to go to the gym. Well, I don't feel like it, so maybe I won't go. It's like, well, no, somebody's literally there waiting for me. I have to go. So it was kind of a, not motivation, but like, you're paying for this, so you have to go.
obligation. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was an obligation. And then, yeah, just learning what I'm doing. And, but now it's more of the accountability. And I was seeing a male trainer before, and he was great. But having a woman trainer now, it's not that it's a ton different, but having like the different, and she is more like holistic and listen to your body. And so for me, I like the kind of differences because now I go to the gym on my own and I'm doing a bunch of different stuff that when I first walked in, I'm like, I don't even know what that is. What does that even
Yeah,
do? I was
yeah,
one of the people you would
yeah.
be watching, like, I don't think you're doing that right. That was
For sure.
100% me. So, yeah, I've been enjoying it. So I just think all
Yeah,
of that's interesting and yeah, the self-care aspect of it. So
for
yeah,
sure.
I loved having her on and everybody is
Yeah,
like everyone has their own journey and so many questions. It's like people are unsure about it or insecure, you know, invest in yourself. Just do it, just
yeah,
get there, show up for yourself. That's the main thing. Just show up for
yeah.
yourself.
yeah, like I said earlier, it's all about, the self-care, like I got to a point where it was just kind of like, I need to do something different, literally anything. Because, you get to a point where it's just kind of like work, sleep, this, that, and it was just kind of
Hmm.
like I was always in the gym, like pretty much my adult life. And then once the gym shut down during the pandemic, it was just kind of like, oh, and it was just kind of like I didn't realize how much of an outlet it was for me. It's like, life can kind of piss you off sometimes, and sometimes you need to like lift something heavy just to be like, yeah, fuck it. But it's like, you know, I already explained, working out at home is it's tough for me. I get very distracted in that way,
Yeah.
where I don't get distracted at the gym, and it's just kind of one of those things that I just feel like I can just do whatever I want to do, and it's all for me, and you know,
Hmm.
I don't really care what anyone has to say about it. And it's just kind of like, you can just relax. I know it sounds stupid, like you're lifting weights. How's it relaxing? It's actually really relaxing. You get into like a nice groove where you're just kind of
Hmm.
lifting and working out, and you're just kind of like
And that's the
chill.
thing
And it's
too.
like,
If you're not thinking about it, zone out.
oh yeah.
You'll be happy you did it, and you're doing something good for your body.
Especially when
Win-win.
you got like good music on in your ears, it's like, yeah, hell yeah. The tunes are really kicking in.
Speaking of good music for working
Oh,
out, ooh,
oh,
oh, I think you know where I'm headed with this. Ooh.
that's right. Right on.
We have a new little venture we're working on here. We are making our own playlist for you all to enjoy. We actually have a workout playlist for you. So it's kind of our picks of workout music. It's on Spotify right now. I'm not totally familiar with Spotify, so I don't know if you want to tell them how they can find it or listen
Yeah,
to it, but
yeah. You just go on to Spotify and you just type in the you can follow me or you can follow Jen, and then it'll show all our playlists, or you can look up specific playlists. What's it called?
Winter Blues
Oh
Remedy
man.
or something like that.
Rem Winter Blues Remedy to help you out when, when you're just feeling down. I listen to it pretty much every day on my way to work, and it's popping.
I love that.
Good songs, good cover songs, just good music to just kind of zone out and chill to. Just, because we're all about nothing but positive energy. We got nothing but positive vibes, weird vibes and positive vibes.
If you need a good workout playlist, we got you.
And
If you
we got
got the
everything you
wintry
need.
blues,
Uh,
we got you. More to
exactly.
come.
Don't be messing around. Let's lock in and don't be messing around. We're trying to get everywhere. Listen to the music, come and laugh at the pod, go and enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? Go to the gym with your crop top on, live it up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Big things coming. Get ready, people.
I think so. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a question I had to ask because it's like I always hear so many people complaining about the way people are dressed, women specifically at the gym, and it's like I can't really relate because most of the time there's not a lot of women at the gym at 4 in the morning, and if it is, they're like older ladies, so they're wearing like sweatsuits. So I never really like see any of this stuff. So I'm always curious when I hear it, and I wanted to hear like, I wonder what women have to say about this. So I was like, I gotta figure that out. If this is just like one of those
That's the
weird
way.
like internet things, or is this an actual thing? Because sometimes with the internet, you'd be like, okay, is this like 20 people just complaining and I just keep seeing the same loop over and over again? Or is this an actual thing?
Hmm. Come here. We'll ask. We'll get you answers.
You know what I'm saying?
We got you.
Me personally, I just like to wear a big potato sack when I work out, with
Yeah.
a crop top underneath, just so I can keep it cool.
Real fancy. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
wear a trash bag. I just tie it in the bag.
Or sometimes just don't go Winnie the Pooh style with the shirt on top and the no bottom on the bottom. Don't do that at the gym. That'll
What's that
probably
movie
get you
Bradley
kicked
Cooper
out.
was in where he wore the trash bag? That's what I
Oh,
do.
Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. We're gonna have
Trash
my trash
bag.
bag.
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just
Don't
sweating
worry
in this
about what I'm
trash
doing, big
bag,
dog. Just keep it moving.
living. Now you're thinking. Because that's exact. If someone saw you in a trash bag, they would probably have a lot of questions. And that's the perfect
That's fun.
response. Don't worry about it, big dog. Just keep on going that way.
I love it.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but we'll
I
definitely do a
think this
part
was
two.
yeah,
It
for
was.
sure, an episode to do because this is Valentine's Day weekend, and I know a lot of people are going to do your typical Valentine's Day episodes like love, relationships, sex. But it was like, well, what about self-love? And I think the gym is like one of those, it's one of the few places on the planet where I feel like it's all about yourself. You know, you can be a weirdo with the gym and do all this, but it's just it's a place that exists just to make you as the individual feel really good about
Hmm.
yourself. It's like one
Yeah.
of the only places in the world that exists like that, where it's just kind of like this is all about me, and no one else can say anything about it, and it's making me feel good. So there's like it would be weird to have like an anti-gym take. Like, what are you doing going to the gym, you fucking loser? Like, I guess, you know. There's no, it would be weird to have an anti-take for that. What are you working out, you fucking clown? What are you trying to get healthy? What are you trying to live longer? What are you doing? You know, like it would be weird to have an anti-take to it. So it's like one of the few places where it's just kind of like, oh yeah. Anytime you tell people you go to the gym, they usually go, oh yeah, cool. No one, I
Good
never
for
seen
you.
anyone go like, I never seen anyone be like, you? Like, oh, wow. You don't look like the gym type. Like, no, I never seen
Yeah.
like a negative take. Like, oh, okay, cool. And
Yeah.
it's generally a pretty friendly place, I would say. Like,
Hmm.
I never went to, there's some gyms that you could kind of tell that have a vibe to them when you walk in. And it's just kind of like, oh, especially where there's like the bros, where the gym bros are at. It can get a little
Hmm.
bit much. It just gets weird. Man. You're like, all right, dude. Where there's a little too much yelling and throwing things. There's a little too much like, all right. And it's like a lot of that's so unnecessary. And it's like
Yeah.
I'm a well, people can't really see me, but I'm a pretty big guy, so you're not gonna really impress me by lifting weights. So if you're like looking at me trying to impress me, it's not gonna really happen because it's like, I guess, and it's like I look over there and you're like lifting like 100 pounds and making all this noise. It's like, is that really necessary? Yeah, they sound like they're like dying over there. You just always want to ask them, "Are you okay? You okay over there, big dog? You're making way too much noise." But my
One of these
headphones are
days,
really
I'm gonna
loud,
show
so
up to your gym when you're there. 4 is way too early for me though, but I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna get like the little 5 pound dumbbells.
you make a lot of noise. They're gonna they're gonna kick you out for sure.
You're gonna
This
be
lady,
there focused, and I'm gonna make sure you're gonna be like, first, you're doing that wrong, but two, way too much noise for five
you're ma-
pounds.
you're making a lot of noise over there. That's usually what happens when people are making less noise. That's just a lot of noise. And it's never anything impressive. You're not, well, I don't know. I don't want to sound like a jerk. But it's like I never like hear people making these crazy noises and look over and they're like lifting like hundreds of pounds with their hands. It's never that. It's always like something very like normal. And it's like, well, that's a normal weight. I feel like you don't have to make all this noise. It's just really intense for literally no reason. It's one of the
Mhm.
reasons why I started going to the gym at 4 in the morning because it's just kind of like there's guys they're just hey man, get off of the machine, man. You're on your phone and it's like and then you got people like sweating all over stuff and it's like, oh man,
Mhm.
I don't want to I don't want to clean your sweat. Why don't you clean that off yourself?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm a big guy, so when I tell people that, they usually do what I say. But I can imagine like there's certain like guys, a guy my size and a girl like you, like, hey, big dog, clean up. That's my Jenny impersonation. Hey, big dog, you forgot to clean off that. Hey, get away from me. That's my impersonation of myself. It, that might be weird to do an impersonation of yourself, but you got to let it fly.
You do you. Keep it weird.
That's what I sound like in my mind, at least. Hey, get away from me. Maybe not. You know.
Thank you for joining us with Life's Weird with Jen and George. Until next time, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Later, George.
Later.